with another video talking about ISO 8, and this is just going to be kind of a generic video, nothing overly specific. I can certainly start going into more specifics kind of as things get a little further along, but for right now this is kind of just a generic overview of ISO 8, what I think of the system so far, and just kind of my overall strategies and thoughts kind of behind this new system. So first and foremost, you do have the ISO 8 campaign. It unlocks at level 55, and you can progress through it. I am still 2 nodes short of 3-starring. Honestly, I haven't needed these ISO sets yet, so I haven't tried to go back and to 3-star them yet. But again, that's something I will work on. Now, first and foremost, there's a ton of ISO 8 videos out there. There's a couple infographics out there. There is some spreadsheets, and we'll kind of talk about that real fast and just kind of my thoughts on that. You know, um, and we'll go into that in just a second. First and foremost, though, I am going to go into how I am working on my ISO 8 as far as priorities. And kind of my priorities, I am looking at my arena team. Was kind of the first team that I did get ISO aided. And if you look, I'll pull up my arena team real fast. My arena team is going to be the second team right here. This first team would be my arena team, but I do not like Hulk, so I am waiting for my to unlock Scientist Supreme, and that will become my new arena team. But the first thing I did was I went and I did my arena team first, and I got them all isolated. Following that, I would then do my raid team, which just so happens to be my arena team as well. And then my next team going into it was my Dark Dimension 1 team. I am still going the AIM train. So you'll notice that my AIM team is all ISO aided. Hulk is just kind of, he was there. Captain Marvel, with her now being farmable, she will probably be my 5th member unless I'm able to unlock Graviton and get him to 6 stars. And then, so once I have those kind of 3 categories filled out, you can kind of go one of two ways. If you're looking for something a little bit more structured, Lego posted a ISO 8 infographic courtesy of Mystery Man, and that is kind of showing the um, top suggested teams for ISO 8. So you could basically look at that infographic and characters that are on those teams that you have. If you want to get them isolated first, that certainly works. Another strategy, you can kind of just look at your roster, and if you have any, meta characters or characters you will be using for endgame stuff, you can go ahead and do that. For the little baby rosters, you could also just kind of go in there and isolate everyone to level 1. And, there's obviously some characters I wouldn't do that to, such as like Ravager Stitcher, but that's another strategy. I think with this alt having the limited roster I have, I am going to kind of go in now, and I think I will start farming um, just characters that I know are used for meta teams. So, like, I can go in and I can do Crossbones. And what I'm doing is I am just equipping up to level 1. I'm not trying to take anyone past level 1 quite yet. Level 1 really gets you to just kind of learn the system and learn how each of these traits works, as well as how they interact with one another. So while you are farming these isotopes, I'm finding the best way to go about this is to do the 12 campaign ones. You pretty much have the same chance as opening up a 24, but I think you've got more chances to possibly get one. So I got one there. We will equip that. And then we will go in here and just equip this one as well. So I've already run out of the 12s, so I'll just go ahead and do the 24s real fast. Um, and didn't get any luck on that, so Crossbones will be just shy of getting his isotopes unlocked. The reason I did start doing Crossbones is because once we do start building more war teams, he is part of one of the meta war offense teams currently with Baron Zemo. And I do have Baron Zemo unlocked. So that team is Crossbones, Baron Zemo, Winter Soldier, Hydra Grenadier, and the fifth is kind of just a random character. A lot of people use Kingpin. But I do have all of those characters except for a random fifth. So they are a team I'm currently working on the ISO 8 for. So kind of just my overall strategy with that. Like I said, I am doing just kind of my better teams that I will work on in the future. If you have symbiotes, that is definitely looking like it's going to be one of the powerhouse teams. So if you'd like to get a head start on that, I certainly would suggest that. Um, Now talking about the actual ISO 8 characteristics. I think a lot of it is semi-self-explanatory. Once you do get those 5 isotopes, you unlock this middle feature. For level 1, you can swap between any of these for no cost. You can kind of go about this one of two ways. This is kind of where theory crafting is coming into play into the game, and one of the really cool things about this feature is it doesn't really seem to be any right or wrong answers. A lot of it is going to depend on playstyle, theorizing, and it just really kind of to me, it makes the game a little funner. I've always enjoyed that theory crafting aspect of a game. Um, Now, if you're not looking to get into theory crafting, like I said, Lego Man did post that infographic on behalf of Mystery Man, and that'll just give you kind of a generic ISO 8 build if you don't want to do any thinking about it. But, me personally, I like to play around with things. So while that is a great starter guide, as you learn the ISO 8 feature a little bit more, you might want to play around a little bit. So just kind of talking about these classes real fast and kind of my thoughts on them. The first one is going to be the Striker. Now, this is going to be taking advantage of that vulnerable trait. When a trait when an enemy is marked with vulnerable, any striker is going to attack and then do a basic bonus attack. This is going to be based off of their basic attack. So characters I really like this on, in particular, I'm really enjoying Venom, just because whatever Venom does attack-wise, his basic always causes bleed. So he'll attack, and if you're using his basic, he throws up a bleed, and then he throws up a secondary bleed. Um, the striker feature is also really good for characters that, essentially have an assist mechanic. They'll assist, and if the character is marked as vulnerable, they will attack again. So they'll do the assist attack plus a ISO 8 attack, which is pretty cool. This class is going to be very dependent. You're going to need someone on that team making vulnerables, so make sure you are looking for that. Fortifier is going to be more of the tank ISO 8 classification. You can also use this for a character that not necessarily is a tank, but if it is a squishy character or a character that gets hit really hard and you're finding that character dying. A good example of that would be, Rocket Raccoon on the Guardians team. That team really depends on Rocket living to do his AoE. Another example potentially would be Human Torch on the Fantastic Four team. And a lot of these ISO 8s don't really show their full effect until you get to probably, I would say, about level 3. But level 1 gives you just kind of a nice play idea. For the newer players, that barrier for 10,000 can be really helpful. For endgame players, it's not as noticeable. Healer, pretty self-explanatory. It's going to boost any active healing. Every turn, it's also going to cause minor regeneration. This is going to be basically for your healers. Just keep in mind it has to be an active heal. So characters that have a drain component, it is not going to work the same. Or if a character does barriers, that's not the same as healing. So good characters that this is for: Minerva, Ebony Maw. Um, Even some of the Asgardians, to an extent, healer works for them pretty well. I'm actually currently running healer on my Sif, just because she gets an extra heal bonus. She gets healed every turn from just having Asgardians on the team, and then you add on an extra 5%. She's not as squishy with her taunt when she's constantly getting healed. Um, so it's kind of healer. So again, you can kind of put it on healers. You can also put it on teams that are missing a healer. So if it's a team that's lacking a healer, that's always an option as well. Next on the list is going to be Skirmisher. Skirmisher is going to be essential in getting those vulnerables so that your strikers can do the bonus attack. Um, and this effect is also going to occur on assists and counterattacks. So this could be, really good for any character that has an assist component in their kit, or even a character that has strong counterattacks. This is also going to be a really good trait for fast characters that don't necessarily have an AoE component to their kit. So Carnage is a great example. And then again, just any character that counters. So Daredevil could be, a good example. Um, Cole Obsidian would be another option. He does his counterattacks, and then any character that has an assist component. Proxima is a good skirmisher, as she'll do assists with Corvus Glaive. So any kind of character with an assist counterattack, or any really fast single target character is going to really benefit from skirmisher. The last on the list is going to be Raider. Raider is going to be, again, it's going to help apply those vulnerables. And this is going to be really good for your AoE characters. So any character that has an AoE in their kit, Skirmisher only applies one vulnerable to one target, even if they are attacking multiple targets. With Raider, it can, anytime it crits on any of the characters on the field, it's going to cause vulnerable. So characters like Hela, when she does her AoE, any character she crits on, she's going to cause vulnerable. So that's just a really kind of a cool component. So any AoE damage, you're probably going to want them have them be a raider. So that's just kind of a general overview of ISO 8. I can go into a gameplay video if you guys want to see that. But for right now, this is just kind of a simple, you know, what I'm doing, what I'm focusing on. Like I said, I did my arena team first, then I did my raid team, then my Dark Dimension 1 team, and now I'm just going in and I'm putting ISO 8 on any characters that I think are going to be useful for endgame. Like I said, if you don't want to kind of do any thought behind this, feel free to look at that infographic, and that does have kind of just a nice generic build. But highly encourage people to play around with the system. It's pretty fun. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your Alliance leadership. Reach out to me in game at Khaleesi, or on Discord at Khaleesi, in game mini call. And if you guys want to see a video outlining some ISO 8 play, feel free to let me know. I'm more than happy to show that. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to making others in the future.